Hello, friends. Today I'm going to read to you a story that has a song that goes along with it, and it's called On Top of Spaghetti. Now, originally this song was called On Top of Old Smoky, which was a mountain in the Appalachian Mountains down south of us. And this song, On Top of Spaghetti, though, this version of this book was written and illustrated by Paul Brett Johnson. And the lyrics to the song are by Tom Glazier. And it's called On Top of Spaghetti, and it's very funny. You might guess that it has something to do with this thing right there, which is a meatball. You'll find a coloring page to this in last week's document, and I will include it in this week's document too, and his little friend the mouse. Now, because this is a southern book, I'm going to use my best southern accent. So it's called On Top of Spaghetti. Howdy, folks. Welcome to Yodeler Jones Spaghetti Emporium and Music Alley. You're just in time to hear about the big sneeze. There they are in the restaurant. The mouse is taking orders. It all started when they put in that fried fritter fricassee parlor next door. I couldn't haul a customer in with a line and a pole. Yodeler, I said to myself, it's time to upgrade the menu. So I set out to invent the most delicious meatball this side of Sicily. That's a place in Italy. And I likely did, but the blasted thing didn't stick around long enough for a taste test. And these are the words to the song. On top of spaghetti, all covered with cheese, I lost my poor meatball when somebody sneezed. This is such a giant sneeze that it took 2 pages to cover it. It rolled off the table and onto the floor. And then my poor meatball rolled right out the door. There's Yodeler going after it. Well, for all I knew, my entire future depended on that runaway meatball, and I had to have a bite. I was hot on the trail when it flew to the Piggly Wiggly and hit dear Miss Jenkins smack dab in the squash. Pardon my meatball, I said. Then I told my tale. On top of spaghetti, all covered with cheese, I lost my poor meatball when somebody sneezed. There's poor Miss Jenkins getting hit in her basket of squash. There they are in the little town. Well, that wasn't the end of it, though, not by a monkey's tail. My meatball went a whooshin' and a whizzin', and this time it landed in front of the sheriff's office. Pardon my meatball, I said. On top of spaghetti, all covered with cheese, I lost my poor meatball when somebody sneezed. Next thing I knew, my meatball zinged all the way to the ballpark. By the time I caught up, some tadwhacker was just about to chomp down. Pardon my meatball, I said. On top of spaghetti, all covered with cheese, I lost my poor meatball when somebody... He's jumping on the pig. What do you think's happening to that meatball? Squeezed. He squeezed his hot dog roll and the meatball went flying off. That meatball shot to the outfield, boomeranged, whizzed by shortstop, flew over the pitcher's mound, and headed directly for home plate. Bad Bubba Jr. was up at bat. That's Bad Bubba Jr. Look what happened to the meatball. Talk about your home run. My meatball zoomed through the wild blue yonder. And where do you reckon it landed? It rolled in the garden and under a bush. And then my poor meatball was nothing but mush. Yodeler, I said, you might as well put up a for sale sign. Then lo and behold, a miracle occurred. The mush was as tasty could be. And by the next day, it grew into a tree. The tree was all covered with beautiful moss. It grew great big meatballs and tomato sauce. Well, you know what? Those were the most delicious meatballs this side of Sicily. That's in Italy. Nowadays, plenty of folks stop in for a bellyful. Always tell them, though, if you eat spaghetti all covered with cheese, hold on to your meatball. What do you think the last page is going to say? And don't ever sneeze. It's another big sneeze that takes 2 whole pages. There it is. Do you see this shaker right here? That's pepper, and pepper sometimes makes people sneeze. So now I'm going to do a separate video, and it's going to be me singing on top of spaghetti. I'll see if I can get these words to you in a document. I hope you enjoyed that. It's a very fun song, On Top of Spaghetti. Be well, friends.